One morning, my 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝘀, my study partner who I study with, turned up like 3 hours late, and it was very unusual for him because usually he's so punctual. I turned around to him and I said to him, "Hanania, how come you're so late today?" So he said, "I'll tell you what happened. Last night I had a phone call from a cousin, and the cousin said, you know, one of our distant cousins, you might not remember them, but they are making a bris in one of the halls in Yerushalayim. Maybe it's worthwhile for you to come along and share and join in the simcha." So I thought, okay, how long will the bris take? The bris was expected to be at 9:30, so I thought maybe I'll be a half an hour late, and it wouldn't be so bad. And they told me that this is a unique bris because the lady had given birth to twins. 32 years she had waited to have a child, and the boy had a boy and a girl, and this was the celebration. Everybody and anybody, Uncle Charlie, anybody who had a connection with this young couple had come along. So it was a tremendous simcha. He said to me, afterwards, everybody went into the hall there, and it was like a wedding celebration. I felt I had to stay. And then someone came forward and asked to speak at the table, at the main guest, and he took hold of the microphone. He said as follows. He said, "I'd like to explain to you why I'm here at this simcha. I was very close with this couple. They used to live in Zurich, where I live, and I felt I must be at their simcha, because one evening, I think maybe about 20 years ago or so, he said, a long time ago, I went over to my friend, and I said to him, I'd like to make a suggestion to you. You know, I know, unfortunately, you haven't been blessed with children. I'd like to make a suggestion to you. I'd like to suggest that you and your wife adopt a child, because the pressure I can see, the anxiety is very great on you. I'd like to suggest to you, you adopt a child, and maybe drop the idea that you'll ever have a child." He turned around to me and says, "No, I can't do that. I can't. I don't have a wife. I can't do that. I hope Hashem will bless us one day with having a child." So I said, okay, fine. I left it. I went home. My wife said to me as I came into the kitchen, "Where have you been?" I said, "Well, I was in shul and I was talking to a friend." She said to me, "Where were you?" And I explained to her what I had said. And she let me have it. She screamed at me. She said to me, "What right do you have to say such a thing to a person that they won't have children? Who are you to say such a thing?" She screamed at me and I screamed back at her, and I got very excited and agitated with her. And I said to her, "No, they've been married for so many years. Isn't it a good advice? I'm a close friend of his. You can suggest it to him." I said, "No, you have no right to do such a thing." I got angry with her and I banged on the table and I said, "But what do you mean? If they ever have a child, I'd sell my whole business and go and learn Torah in Yerushalayim." They had twins, so I didn't know. Did I make a vow when I said that? I didn't know. So I came yesterday to Israel and I went in to speak to the great rabbi in Meira, Rabbi 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝘀, and I asked him, "Did I make a vow?" He said, "You certainly did." And Rabbi Chaim had told me that I have to come, I have to fulfill my vow. Well, I have a factory, I have to now sell it. And I just want to tell you all, 𝗓𝗏𝗄𝗏, I'll be back soon. I have to come and now settle in Israel because of these two children. And he made a whole long speech about the children, how this vow was waiting for me for years and years, and I have to sell my whole business. It was incredible. He said, "That's what happened. And that's why I'm late. I felt I had to stay, and I'm sorry I'm so late." About 2 weeks after this event, a friend of mine called me up who lives in 𝗏𝗶𝗵𝗀, and he said to me the following. He said, "You have no idea what happened here in 𝗏𝗶𝗵𝗀 over Shabbos. The yeshiva called 𝗟𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁 had just dedicated a new dining room. We all came out. It was a big celebration, and people sat there at the Kiddush. And it was also a celebration for someone who's making a Kiddush for a young girl. They just had a girl. And everybody was sitting down, and someone came to the main table, and he addressed everybody and said to them, "You know, I'd like to tell you why this simcha is so great. I don't know if you know that this couple had waited 32 years to have a child when they had a girl. And this is the Kiddush, which is to be made with the dedication of the new dining room, but also they had made a Kiddush." He said, "But you probably don't know that 2 weeks ago, another lady in another part of Jerusalem also was blessed with twins, and they also waited 32 years to have a child. And these two couples had both, within 2 weeks of each other, one had twins, and this couple had a little girl. And it's a remarkable occasion, but I don't know if you know this," he said. "I'd like to fill in you with some details. These two couples lived in the same apartment building in Zurich, on the same floor. And about a year ago, one woman, they both came to live in Israel, neither of them had children, and one went to live in one part of Jerusalem, one went to live in 𝗏𝗶𝗵𝗀. And the two women met after many, many years, after living in Jerusalem, and one woman turned around to the other woman and said to her, 'You know, we've been through a great deal together, you never had children, I never had children, I just want to tell you something, that I'm expecting a child.' And the other woman turned around and said, 'Yes, me too, I'm also expecting a child.' So the one woman to the other woman, 'You know, when you moved into the apartment building, I saw you didn't have a child. I want you to know something. I've been davening for you to have a child for over nearly 30 years. I've been davening for you.' So the other woman, 'Me too. They each had been praying for each other for nearly over 30 years. They each one, and they both gave birth within 2 weeks of each other. One had twins, and one had a little girl. Incredible event that they had looked after. They had prayed for each other for over 30 years, each one for the other, and they gave birth within 2 weeks of each other. Incredible event this was. I thought that was the most beautiful lesson in prayer, to pray for somebody else. Pray for somebody else and they pray for you. And even though you don't know about it, it's tremendous inspiration that a person should keep on trying and care for other people. Care for others, Hashem makes sure that you also take care of as well.